Hello guys, this is Avcoor, and per request from my YouTube channel, I'm actually going to do a video on maps and PvP for Contra Returns. So let's get started. We'll actually do ranked last because I think ranked mode is more important because you actually get rewards from ranked mode. So we'll do it last. So we'll look at the rules, and the rules will give us the map guides that we need in order to talk about the topic that we're discussing. And first, we'll do Rocket Control Room. Rocket Control Room, I think, is honestly second in importance because this is where you have the um, Guild Wars, where the on Tuesday you actually face against people in one-on-one. And there's a couple of tricks to this map that will help you out. First things first is you got to use the corners, so to speak. Like if you're trying to stall, it's best to stay in the corner and then slowly move to the right or to the left. You don't actually want to be in one place for too long, but when you're in the corner, you can alternate by jumping on top or jumping down because you're one on one and the opponent actually has to get to you. If they commit to going into one direction, you just go into the opposite direction. Like sometimes when I fight whales and I beat whales, it's not because I'm better than them, because obviously I'm not, because their power is higher than mine. It's because I'm able to navigate the map and flip between the top level and the bottom level. And there's another trick when it comes to the bottom level. Sometimes when you get close to the bottom in the middle, where you see the green at the very bottom and you see the little square under it, if you actually kneel next to it, you actually can dodge certain attacks from the first ledge and the second ledge. What I mean by the second ledge is where you start at. That's the first ledge, and you can go down, and that's the second, and that's the the first ledge is where you start at. The second ledge is where you can go forward and then you drop down. From those two positions, if you cradle yourself in next to the middle square, you can actually dodge some of the attacks. So that's something to keep in mind. Kneeling actually works with the small squares on this map. You actually can kneel and dodge standing shooting attacks. So if you're being pressured, sometimes it's best just to duck. And that's one of the differences about this map and other maps. Ducking actually helps. And we'll talk about the middle section. And this is a bit more advanced. If you're being pressured, it's always good to move to the middle, duck, and push jump, and you'll automatically drop down to the second level, which is smaller than the first level of the middle section. But in Legion War, there is no like health recovery there. So these health points are only for the practice runs where you practice using your characters, which is fair. But my advice here is if you're playing aggressive, move into the center. If you're playing defensive, move to either left or right and move under. That way you can avoid taking shots. And it's always good to duck on this map because it actually benefits you. So that's just saying for the rocket control room. We'll actually go to the laboratory. This is the least important map. Um, there's not much to say to this map. It's hard to dodge on this map, but if you look at it, when you move down all the way to the triangular, rectangular ledges at the bottom, if you actually cradle there, you can actually duck attacks from your opponents. And if you move backward, you can actually duck, duck an attack, jump over, and get the advantage. Another more advanced skill is moving to the center, shooting, and moving backward as you are shooting. That's a way for you to attack and still slowly move away. Because aggressive characters like John Connor and Jubei and Terminator actually are really, really crippling on this map. They really have no like obstacles to hinder their movement. So this map really favors guys like them, as opposed to the rocket control room that favors Bill, armored Bill, in John Connor. It favors both of them, but armored Bill's no good in laboratory because he just takes hits. You can't actually move away from the opponent as well to avoid hits, so he's not really that good here. Um, Another character that's actually good here is Glenn. Since there's no obstacles to stop her, she can actually shoot her machines up and down and pretty much cover the whole map. So that's pretty busted. So this map is not really that great strategically. It's hard to gain advantage. It really favors aggressive players, and that's why I don't think it's really good for practicing on some level. I think the rocket control room is better for practicing. So that's it for the laboratory map. Um, Sorry, Elrod, I'm busy. I'm sorry, dude. Launchpad is the 3v3 map. Okay, and then there's Hero Battlefield. Launchpad is important. There's a lot of stuff going on in Launchpad. Um, First of all, there's like different approaches to Launchpad. So when I talk about Launchpad, I'll talk about it as in what role you should be doing. So there's three basic roles that I consider in 3v3. There's the DPS, or the aggressor. That is the person who is actively attacking opponents and trying to kill them so they don't move into the center in order to siege for it. Then there's your tank, your survivor. Him or her, their job is to move into the center and hold the center, to stay in the center. They're not really supposed to be moving around anywhere. They're supposed to stay in position to challenge people who would try to take the fort from them. And most of the time, your tank is actually being attacked either by the aggressor or the next character, which I would call support. The support characters actually assist either the tank or the DPS in doing their job. Either they apply long range damage, they either stun, or they boost attack. So we'll talk about it in that way, and we'll start with the DPS. As a DPS, you have many options to move across the board here. So we'll start in the left corner where you see your start point. There's three paths for your DPS to go. You can either go up, straight, or down. And sometimes, if you want to, you can actually take the launch and move from down upward. And everybody knows who plays 3v3 knows what that is. Is when you go to the bottom, there's a lift, and it pushes you upward into the mid level. So there's three paths for you to go here. My advice is either take the bottom or the top. As a DPS, you don't want to rush into battle, so to speak, because you're trying to kill people. And if you lose HP, you're wasting your HP. Your HP should be spent on killing people. You shouldn't waste your HP on taking damage to move into the center. That's the tank's job. The survivor. Um, so my advice is go either top or bottom. If you have a high mobility unit like John Connor, it'd be better if you just go to the bottom, because you can move down the bottom, use his spear throw, catch a spear, move forward, throw down a spear, move forward, and then you're already at the heal point. And if you just go ahead and grab the heal point, then when somebody gets damaged, they can't get healed. And that's one of the strategies that you can use on this map. Sometimes, if you're the DPS, you kind of want to control the bottom section, and you'll see that a lot in games, that the DPS will move from the bottom heal point left to the heal point on the right, and they'll just attack DPS, grab HP, move to the other side, grab HP, and keep going. So they alternate between the two heal points, constantly attacking people. So that's the thing about this map. You actually want to control different sectors of the map. Um, Another way for a DPS to go, if you so choose, is to go to the top. Sometimes it's optimal to go to the top because supports like Lucia and Vera and Jean, they like to go to the top, drop their machines or whatever down. So they pretty much control the top area and move into the bottom fort area where the tank or whatever unit there is collecting fort. So for that reason, you may want your DPS to go to the top, depending on the team composition. If you think Lucia is going to the top, I think you should go to the top too. Because if Lucia takes the top, she is able to drop machines down and control the center. And the tank is free to seize fort, do a little DPS, and start collecting. And that's always bad. So John Connor's really good. Lance, Terminator. Terminator is really exceptional on this map. This is one of Terminator's best maps, along with John Connor and Lance. Um, yeah, yeah, they're really good at this map. Even Simbe is really good on this map as well. As good at not Aurora is actually good if you can use her right, and Hummingbird is good on this map. So as a DPS, you kind of want to move in between the two heal points or cover the top section. It's your choice. I don't advise you moving into the middle because you sustain heavy damage there. Your goal is to kill units. You help seize the fort by killing people who can potentially take the fort from you. So that's it for the DPS. When you're in a tank, you're just going forward into the center. You're not going to the top or the bottom. There are some tricks for you to do, like it's optimal for the tank to move forward, and you see this little green heal point there. It's not a heal point. It either gives you a shield or attack bonus. If your DPS wants to take the attack, he can. He should be covering the bottom of the top though. The tank can actually just take this, and it's optimal for the tank to do so. And when you're moving forward, you don't have to move all the way into the fort at the first rush. You don't have to do that. You can stay and stand. That's why sometimes it's good for the tank to carry a cannon so that he can see further away. Like it's good for support to carry a sniper rifle so they can see further away, so they can see where things are going. Even for the DPS, cannon is good because you need to see where people are at, and the range of vision that the cannon or a sniper rifle gives you allows that, because knowing where people are on this map is extremely important. So as a tank, when you move into the center, you see that you have a bottom section where you can dip into. You have two corner sections where you can sit at, and you have the middle section, which is the middle ledge. As a tank, you don't want to be on the middle ledge. If you don't sustain heavy damage, then it's good to go into one of the corners in the middle. The reason for this is you collect fort there, you collect fort in the middle, but you do not collect fort if you drop down into the bottom. If you drop down into the bottom, you'll notice that blue your blue ring will automatically cut off. That's bad. That means you're not collecting fort. This is a mistake that everybody makes. Now, they're so busy fighting, they forget that their job is to collect fort. Even I do it. Sorry, poor miss. I forget to collect fort. I forget that dropping down to the middle actually just cancels out your ring that allows you to siege for it. And if you're in the bottom section in the middle, even though you are in the center, it doesn't count as the center. And if two enemy units are in the center, they'll automatically override you and take fort from you. So you have to consider that as the tank when you're in the center. You need to be in one of those corners because it's harder for them to attack you when you're in the corner. They have to jump on the ledge and come up to meet you. And that's time they're spending coming up to meet you. And that's time you have to attack them at a distance. As a tank, you're not really looking to be at any point. If you have time, you can go down to the heal point, get healed. Or if you think you can kill a straggler, you can do that too. But your goal is to hold fort, and that's it. So last but not least, let's go to the support. As a support, you either want to go straight and wait halfway towards the fort, or you want to go to the top. You don't want to go to the bottom because you'll see DPS down there, and if you look at the bottom, that's a long journey. Most supports don't have high movement. They can't increase their movement. Um, Even tanks really can't increase their movement unless you're Adam, which actually makes Adam more solid in PvP than people think because he's actually mobile. He's actually a mobile tank that he can just move. Whereas Bull and Bill Riser and Snowbear, they don't have like movement. But anyways, supports usually don't have high movement. So you need to be in a position where you can affect the fort. And that's pretty much at the top or going straight forward, moving halfway in, seeing what's going on, and setting up your support systems, whether that be machines or fields or whatever. But you're not really supposed to be touching the melee as much as other units. So when you see those little green things underneath the ledges before you get into the center, that's where you want to hang out at. Support long range attack, move in, set up your machines, or you want to go to the top. If you're Lucia Zero, you kind of want to go to the top, set down your machines and control the top, help out your tank, and siege fort. I don't think it's always optimal to do that because the battlefield will change and sometimes it's not good to be up there. Because if Iron Lance is up there, you don't want to be up there. So sometimes you'll see Lucia set her machines and she'll drop down. That's not a dumb move. That's a smart move because they're trying to run away from a high-powered DPS. And you don't want to die as a support. As a support, you want to, like, not die. DPS, it's okay to die. As long as you kill something, it's okay to die. It's okay for a DPS to die. I see people on video show themselves this showcase of you killing 10 people without dying. For the most part, that's not realistic. The DPS is supposed to die the most, the tank the second most, and the support the least. Vera should not be dying as much as Lance Bean, because Lance Bean should be always attacking somebody and constantly attacking people, get you killed. That's why you control the heal spots. So with your support, you always want to be a little ways away, but just close enough to influence the battle. Certain things about this map, which I will go into, is sometimes you don't have to actually take the jump point to jump into the second level. Maybe you wait because you're the aggressor, and from the spawn point, you can go close to a person's spawn point, drop down into the middle section, and then you can come back up and surprise them. And that's another thing about the DPS. You can surprise people by going low and coming upward. Especially tanks who just are really oafish with their movement and just rush forward. You can surprise them, come in with Lance Bean and drop an Iron Fist on them and kill them. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can manipulate this map. And one of the best ways is to hide. It's always optimum for you to surprise your opponent as opposed to just rushing into him. And that's mainly for the DPS. The DPS has high mobility. They can surprise opponents. You can actually surprise the opponent with a DPS by dropping down doing your dash with Lance Bean or John Connor or Terminator. Terminator surprises really well. That's why he's so good on this map. And you can actually kill opponents. So this map has a lot of strategies to run through it. And sometimes you'll see people implement them well or implement them pretty bad. It's just the way things go. Uh, Hero Battlefield is the map that I use a lot, but I'll talk about that last. Conquer Battlefield is the map I see not as much as 3v3 or 1v1. This is the 2v2 map. The thing about this map is teamwork is more important here because you don't have 3 people, you only have 2. And if you lose one guy, it's a significant advantage over the other opponent. So you actually really want to run a take in this map. Tanks are really good in this map because they can actually perform the role of DPS. I think Quinn is like one of the best characters for this mode because he can tank and DPS, so he does both. Supports are good, but it's hard to squeeze them in. Um, Basically, the best supports here are Lucia and Vera. Um, I think Lance Bean and John Connor and Terminator are really awesome here because Terminator can do something no one else can. He can just warp at a certain point to the top and kill the bosses. Because you have 2 bosses on this map and 2 minions, the bosses actually give you really good buffs that actually let you get access to certain skills, and sometimes you get healing. So with this map, it's very optimum for you to have high mobility units. You need units that will actually cover the map really fast because not only are you trying to kill people, but you're actually trying to kill monsters and gain power-ups. There's so many power-ups on this map that you really should be using like John Connor and Terminator and Lance Bean and Ray Powered and Code 18, um, for instance, because they're really good on this map. They cover the map. They apply a lot of control on the map. Supports aren't as good on the map per se. Tanks are really good. Snow Bear is really good. Um, Armored Build is really good. Adam is actually really good on this map. I've been watching some videos. Adam is really good because he can quickly push into the middle and force people to come and fight him because he is taken forward. So people say Adam sucks, but I beg to disagree. Adam is really good on certain PvP maps because he's a tank that can rush in. He's a tank that can close distance. So this guy is underrated. I think he's trash. I think he's trash in 1v1 because he doesn't have help. Um, I think he's trash in 1v1, but 2v2 and 3v3, I think he's really good. Um, yeah, I think he's really good. I would like to get him myself so I can try, but yeah, I think Adam's actually serviceable here. But truly, to be true, Connor's the best in all 3 forms: 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3. He's the best. So is Terminator and Lance at 5-star Awakening. Code 18 is actually good on this map as well. Strategies for this map is you always want to stay in the middle 2 corners if you're the tank. It's optimum for you to stay there and hold fort while the other guy goes around and starts killing stuff. But if you get into a conflict, the 2 ledges before you get into the center are optimum too because you get to attack the little skull there, the little minion. You get to attack there and move down and move back into the fort. So sometimes as a tank, you can actually go into the center, look around, and move to the left or the right and kill minions to get bonuses. So as a tank, that would be your job during the whole match. Your DPS has more responsibilities. He's trying to kill monsters and get power-ups and kill units, so most of the work is on him. but the role of the tank is yet still important. So keep that in mind in Hero Battlefield, that you have certain roles and people need to fill them. And last, I'll talk about Hero Battlefield. Go into rank mode. Um, Hero Battlefield is important to me because this is the PvP mode that yields the most resources. Um, First thing first is the whole map is useful, but you're always moving around. You can't hold fort here. There's no holding fort here. This is pure 1v1 kill or be killed. So you're not staying in one place for too long. But what I will say is certain spots are optimum. In order to be at the top of PvP, you have to understand what is good about the map and what's bad. What's bad about the map is that when you look at this map, it's not very reflective of the whole thing, because when you look at the picture and you see the little bottom section below the boss, you can't be seen there. And unless you have a cannon, you can't see where your opponent is. There are times where you can hide from your opponent, even though he knows where you're at in vicinity wise. High mobility units can actually cheese this and actually surprise you. All the time with John Connor. John Connor is so annoying on this map because he's able to move upward and move left or right. And that's really brutal on this map. That gives him so much space and so much control. It's ridiculous. You literally can't escape him when he pursues you almost. There's a couple of tricks, like you need to learn how to down and jump all the time. When you go into the center, you can drop down into the bottom section. Sometimes you really need to use that in order to escape people like John Connor, Lance Bean, and Terminator. Like the left and right side next to the center, you need to move around constantly. It's hard to stay in one space, but the trick is you have positions where you can attack effectively. Like at the top or the left or the right, you can attack effectively there. And if John Connor comes, do not run from John Connor. It's kind of a hard thing to say, but if you turn your back to John Connor, you're not attacking him anymore. You're not attacking John Connor or Terminator or Lance Bean. Sometimes I make this mistake and I have to catch myself, but it's hard to try to run away from an opponent, but you give up your back and they're going to kill you anyway. You might as well try to kill them. Especially Quint too. He's another problem where you want to run away from him, but they give him so much movement and speed that he can just like close in on you. I don't think this is fair. That's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes you just have to turn and fight. So remember that on this map, that you have to turn and meet your opponent. And it's better to do it not at the top. If you're running from John Connor at the top, it's pretty brutal. Because look how long that is. That's you running away from John Connor and him applying DPS. That's why when you see John Connor, you kind of want to move into the center and start moving around so he can't just pursue you over and over. Because he has to drop down like every other character. And when he uses his spear, sometimes it's harder for him to go from the mid top level to the bottom level and attack you at the same time. Terminator doesn't have this problem. You're just gonna have to accept the fact that Terminator is gonna close in on you. Sometimes it's better to jump in the air when you see Terminator coming, so when he ports at you and moves across from you so you can escape. Never get into the corner. The two corners of your spawn points, you never want to be there unless you're Glane. You don't want to be there because Glane can actually force the opponent to come to her, and she can use her laser beam and punish them for big damage. Same thing with Vera, but most of the time you don't want to be in those corner sections. You want to keep moving. So that's it for this video. I hope you like it. Hit the like, share, subscribe button, and I'll get back to you. Have a great one.